Steven Spielberg was interviewed recently. He has a lot of movies coming out. Steven Spielberg always has. He's still working hard. He's got to be close to 70 by now. He's always still...
Doesn't look a day over 60, though.
He has a movie come out. He directs a movie almost one a year. Sometimes more than one a year he has come out. At his age is incredible. And plus he's always producing 4 or 5 other movies.
I was going to say, he's always producing. That's what I always noticed.
But at least one movie a year he directs just about. If not more. For a guy of his caliber is tough, especially at his age. So he was promoting Cold War film Bridge of Spies starring Tom Hanks, and it's great when they work together. Tom Hanks and Spielberg. What was the one that he did with Tom Hanks before? He's done a lot with Tom Hanks. He's Saving Private Ryan. Mm-hmm. He did the one Catch Me If You Can. That's what I'm thinking. I think it's a really good movie. He did that one where Tom Hanks is stuck. He's a foreigner stuck in an airport and he can't leave it. That one was a little more shaky. Supposedly those reviews didn't see that one.
Yeah.
But he's back for this one. A little bit more serious movie. And so he was asked about superhero movies. What do you think about the genre? What it's doing? And he said, "We were around when the Western died, and there will be a time when the superhero movie goes the way of the Western. Doesn't mean there won't be another occasion where the Western comes back and the superhero movie someday returns. Of course, right now the superhero movie is alive and thriving. I'm always saying that these cycles have a finite time in popular culture. There will come a day when the mythological stories are supplanted by some other genre that possibly some young filmmaker is just thinking about discovering for all of us."
I think so. It's funny because right after that, like in that article, someone's like, "Harsh words from Spielberg." It's like, no, those aren't actually harsh words at all. I actually pretty much agree 100% with what he's saying. The Westerns were saturated. They did what they could with them, and people moved on. And you still get the Western, and the Western might come back. But I like superhero movies. I love them. I read comic books. But we are looking at another 6 years of very tightly packed schedules with tons of superhero movies, both DC and Marvel.
DC jumping in and doing 2 or 3 movies a year. Marvel's doing 2 or 3 years. Hell, I'm going to count all the other fantastical, quote-unquote, movies. Like, you're going to get 2 Star Wars movies a year on top of that. You're going to have a ton of these movies that all have the same audience. All are these fantastical stories with superhero-type people in them, whether they're Jedi or Caped Crusaders. You know, that's a lot of audience to take in and absorb, and they got to rest at some point.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, that's how it's, I don't think that's harsh. I think that's just the cycle of...
It's a cycle.
It's a cycle of trend, too. I mean...
And plus, you got to remember is that these huge superhero movies aren't being buoyed by comic book readers. They're by casual people on the street. They're like, oh, Iron Man, I'll give it a chance. Oh, Captain America, I kind of remember that. Oh, Avengers has them all. If these disappeared, it's not like their worlds would be shattered. They would just go to something else.
Yes, exactly.
That's not to say that Marvel's not going to still be pumping out good movies until we're dead, because they probably will at this point. But the interest will wane, and when the interest wanes, the fringe ones will disappear first. So right now, you can get a Deadpool movie, and you might have an audience for that. But Spielberg's saying 5-10 years from now, you probably won't have that.
Right now, you can get yourself your Doctor Strange movie. 10 years, you would never get it. You know, I'm sure at some point there will be a reboot to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and it will be significantly more pared down with fewer releases.
Could be.
It's just, I mean, I don't know that they'll necessarily disappear, but I understand the basic idea of the question. Yes, it's going to wane in popularity.
Yeah, Spielberg was off on Westerns in this respect. With the Western... The vast majority of the Westerns were made-up characters that weren't there before. Whether it's Rawhide Kid, Gunsmoke, I'll throw in series too, because a big chunk of the TV series in the 50s going into the even mid-60s a lot of these were Westerns.
Yes.
So you have a lot of these that my dad loved. Gunsmoke, that's another one.
That one that lasted forever, and it was like an independent story each episode.
Have Gun Will Travel was one that was on for like 3-4 years. That's a cool one. That's the one my dad liked. Was that one? There's a board game with that. So you had a lot of these that were there's cool to watch them. Oh, Clint Eastwood gets his start on this one, you know. And, this actor gets his start, and then move on to their stuff. They were cheap to produce. Westerns. That's one of the reasons why they lasted that long. They reused a lot of the same sets. Were out there Western sets. You see the same Western set, and in 8 movies that came out in 5 years, you probably see the same exact town being used, maybe dressed a little differently, and they were cheap to do Westerns.
Yeah,
you get the outfits. We have them in the stores. You get the guns. You get a couple of horses. There's your Western. It's right there. You don't need elaborate effects. You don't need sets. You just need blanks in your gun. So that's one of the reasons they lasted. With superhero movies, you are creating different worlds, though. You are creating, an Ant-Man movie at this point is far different than a Batman movie. So it may be strung out a little bit longer than the Westerns, maybe 15 years. I don't know. I'm trying to think as I go here. But I will say this, though. Speaking of Ant-Man, I didn't feel the need to see Ant-Man within the first couple weeks when it came out.
No. I haven't seen it yet.
So it's only been, these Marvel movies have only been out for 7 years now. It's only been 7 years, and we're talking, what is that, about 16 movies? Something like that? Something in that ballpark. 15 movies? Something like that?
Sure.
And already, I'm like, okay, I don't feel the need to see this one right away. Or maybe I'll wait a little bit to see what the reviews are.
We're entering the expanded universe, and there are going to be expanded universe movies like, I'm just making that term up, but
The B characters, C characters.
Ant-Man, I want to see it, but, Vonnie and I will try to see it this week before it leaves theaters. Doctor Strange, I will try to go see that first week, because I love Doctor Strange. But, yeah, there's a lot of these where I'm going to be like, I can take a pass maybe entirely, or I can definitely wait until stuff calms down. It's not a lack of interest for me, it's just that now we have so many options when it comes to them that I don't have to go to everyone.
Plus, you have all these great DC's doing well with their TV series. You have Marvel doing their Netflix thing. You can get your superhero fix anywhere now.
Yeah.
Daredevil season 2 is already going to come out.
There's these things called comic books.
No one's reading it, but there's things called comic books that, they're...
People read more comic books now than ever.
It's still a loss leader, though, for the most part, versus the huge movies. It's like, oh, by the way, we have these comics that are, these guys in these movies that are making us millions of dollars. By the way, we have these comics you can read, too. They're cute. They're like little party.
That's why it's called a comic book movie?